Hi, I'm Tom Miggott from Tom Miggott Photography. Several months ago I did a video about the Drawable Backup Solution 5N. If you haven't watched that video, I invite you to click on the link right below. At least I know somebody who's watched that video, and that's someone from Thecus. Thecus, they are a competitor to Drawable, and they contacted me asking me to do a review of the latest product, a 2 hard drive bay called the N2310. I said to them, absolutely, I'll do it. I'm happy to do that, but I do not have any spare hard drive to test them with. So I said, don't worry, Tom, we're going to send you the NAS with the hard drives. Please note that the hard drive, be great to send them back to us, but the N2310, the bay itself, you can keep it. Is that a way to buy me off? Maybe, maybe not. I don't care. I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to review all this. If I like it, I'll say. If I don't, I'll say so too. So let's see what it is. This is a NAS, which means that it's a network attached storage, meaning that it's a storage unit in which you put hard drives in, and you plug that storage unit to your network. This does not have a built-in Wi-Fi. This uses either USB or Ethernet cable. Here in my home office, what I have is a gigabyte network, meaning that I have a very fast speed that enables me to plug my Drawable, like I said in the previous video, to my network, and my iMac is plugged to my network, and I can have all my photos, all my raw files on the Drawable and still work live in Lightroom or Photoshop seamlessly. So let's see what they say here for this Thecus N2310. Well, it says that you protect your source, secure your data. So let's see what it is. They claim it's a 5 minutes complete installation. I'm going to challenge this. Easy connection through DNS, alright. Personal cloud, download server, cloud service backup, media streaming, photo server, and mobile access with a mobile phone. Here at the back, in terms of the hardware, it says that in terms of the memory, it's got 512 megabyte DDR3 memory. That's for the cache. So when your data is being written onto the hard drive, basically the data go through a cache before it's written onto the hard drive. So the bigger it is, the more it can store data before writing onto the hard drive, and that's a good thing. USB ports, it's got two, one USB 3, which is the fastest one, and USB 2, which is pretty fast as well. Up to 2 internal 2.5 inch SATA hard drives. In terms of performance, they claim that it can read at 100 megabits per second and write up to 80 megabits per second. It says that it comes with an application, so usually the NAS server comes with kind of server, application server where you can play your media, like streaming videos, watching your photos, and that's what they say here. It's got an intelligent NAS client utility management tool, which enables you to basically set up your NAS from your computer. It says it's got Pixar photo server, web disk, I don't know what that is, and USB 3.0 press copy. So I don't know what that one press copy is. It's probably something so you can actually make a backup of whatever you have here directly onto a third on a second storage unit, a third hard drive I was going to say, by the press of a button. We'll see all this. Let's dive in and see what's in there. First thing is, oh, I like this. That's the quick installation guide, and it's the same thing on the other side. So that's that means two things. Either the product is very simple and it's so easy to install that you don't need much instruction, or that the company is very bad with documenting. I hope it's the first one. First box. What do we have in here? Well, we have the power cord, and that's a European one, so good that I have the adapter. And that's the, well, that goes with it. That's the power adapter unit. We've got an Ethernet cable. Hopefully, let's see if what quality of Ethernet cable is going to be written on it. I'll check what it is. If it's remember, I did mention that in my previous video. Depending on the quality of your Ethernet cable, you will have better writing speed and reading speed. The fastest one, I believe, is class 7. I'm going to check. I don't see it here, but I'll see it when I. Well, that's a Cat 5. So it's not too bad. I'll check what I have upstairs. We've got screws here and more screws, a warranty card, and a CD. I guess it's the instruction on how to use it. Okay, what's next? Oh, all right. Okay, so that aside, we don't care. The box at the back. What do we have? Well, we've got the power in, the reset button right here. We've got the LAN input for your Ethernet cable. We've got a USB 2 input and USB 3 input right here, and the lock if you want to secure this to your desk. At the front, the 2 bays really. So let's open one, and we see a hard drive in it. So the hard drive is a Western Media Enterprise Class 1 terabyte. Okay, and it says it's got 128 megabyte cache. It's a SATA drive. So I'll just put it here for a second. Let's see the other one if it's the same. So yes, it is the same. I'd be curious to know if you have to have exactly the same hard drives in both slots in order to make it work. With Drobo you didn't, so I'll have to dig into the instruction and check that out. So it's exactly the same one. Let's do a test. This one is the last one that I took. I took it from the right slot. What if I actually try to put it on the left slot? Can I? Yes, I can. No problem there. What about? I saw you was going this way. What if I'm stupid? I'm trying to put it the other way around. Okay, you can't, which is great. So you're not going to damage your hard drive. So let's put it in like this. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it to my iMac, and I'm going to do some writing speed, reading speed. I'm going to see also the how it works in case of an outage. So I'm going to be playing some videos maybe and pull one of the hard drive just like this to mimic a failure and see how the whole system cope with this. So it's going to take me a few days. I'm going to play with them, and anyway, for you it's going to be seamless because the rest of the video tells you all the results. See you in a bit. So here we are in my home office. It hasn't been a few days, it hasn't been a few weeks. As a matter of fact, it's been a few months since the first part of this video. Been pretty busy myself, lucky for me, and I spent some time assessing this Thecus N2310. Before we dive in, let me start by saying one thing. Obviously, I'm a photographer, and my interest in such equipment is from a photography perspective, using as a backup, using as well as a main storage for my images, like I use the Drobo. So I want to have my RAW files, everything with regard to my photography directly onto the Thecus, onto the NAS, and work from Lightroom, from Photoshop, accessing the photos straight from the Thecus and editing them as we go live. So I don't want any delay. I want things to go very smoothly, just like if my images were onto my main hard drive of my computer. In terms of setup, I plugged it using a Ethernet cable. I didn't use the one that came in the box simply because that was category 5, and I use category 6 here, which is more powerful, and in fact nothing else is plugged onto my network as we speak, because this is actually the cable that I use for the Drobo. It's not plugged directly into the iMac. I use a switch, which is basically an Ethernet multi-plug. So it goes to the switch, which is just underneath my desk here, and from the switch it goes to the iMac. So let's dive in. So move this aside and let's go on a computer. So in Lightroom, we're going to add the folder. So here's my NAS N2310. As you can see, it comes with several folders, and I've created one called My Photography Thecus. Here I've got a subfolder called Edit, and in this subfolder I have another subfolder called Halloween with raw files. You can see CR2s and XMP files, as well as a couple of TIFFs. So I want this in Lightroom. So I'm in Lightroom library here, and in the left panel I do folder, add folder, and I'm gonna go at the edit level. So I'm just gonna choose. Now I'm in the import window here. I'm selecting all of them. The develop setting none, because I want each file to use the XMP that came with it. Basically what I did was copying over a folder, the Halloween folder from the Drobo, and moved it onto the Thecus. That's what I did. So now here on the left side, left panel, you can see My Photography Thecus. So this is the drive, and then the edit folder, and in there we have a subfolder called Halloween with all the photos. As you can see, it's reading the CR2 file. I have one TIFF file that's about 140 megabyte. Let me just double check its size, and we can see how fast it loads. So it's this one, 130 megabyte. So you can see it's this one here. So if I zoom in, it's reading it again now, and you can see how fast it goes, which is not bad at all, right? And now I can just work on it. I've got another file that's even bigger, and this is the one right here. So I'll let you appreciate the speed. That was pretty fast. Let's see how big that file is. 665 megabyte. So it's really powerful. I mean, it's really fast. It reads. You can definitely work with it. As you can see, it's a little bit slow here, but that's normal. Doesn't shock me that much for 650 megabyte file. I mean, this is crazy. Most of you guys, even I, do not use a file that big. And the reason why I ended up having a file this way is because I was doing some test. I went into Photoshop and I added layers and layers and layers. I saved the file as a TIFF, but I didn't compress it. So that's why it got so big. So let's take one image and do a test like I did on my own. So we have this file. This is a raw file, and it's on the Thecus. So now here, develop module, and obviously you can do everything you want, right? Here, let's increase, I don't know, saturation. You say you can do a lot of things. There's absolutely no delay whatsoever. If I zoom on it, here we go, finish reading, pretty cool. And let's add some grain. Not that this is a video to do anything about editing, but sorry, where is the bloody grain? I don't see it anymore. I never use it, but here it is. So let's do this. Okay, so now that it's done, let's say we want to open it in Photoshop. So edit in Photoshop. Here, I don't want this. Here we go. Now I want to duplicate a layer, making the file a little bit bigger. Let's close this, and here let's say I want to crop it. So I want to crop it, and I want to do something like this here. Yeah, save this, and let's save it. It's saving it 97%, and I didn't do save as, so it's not going to compress it. It's going to be the full thing. It's going to be pretty big. It's going to be around 100, I would expect 130. Let's see. Let's go here. It's this one. Yes, 459 megabyte. This is big. Let's go in Lightroom and see if we have that file. That file is right here. It's loading it. And we have it here. So you can see we can definitely work on it already. Let's add a vignetting. Here we go. And that's it. So as you can see here, the whole point is not to go through this edit, because this is a crappy edit, but it's really to show you that you can really work with raw files that are actually located on your NAS the Thecus N2310. So for me, it's fulfilling my need. It's great. I can't complain about it. For those of you who might be wondering what exactly are the writing speeds, well, obviously it's not only due to the Thecus itself. It can also come from the hard drive, and mostly actually will come from the hard drives and your network. So here I have a little app here. Let me close Lightroom. So I'm closing Lightroom. Let me close Photoshop, and if it's a little app from Blackmagic, and what it enables you to do is you select the target folder. So here I'm just going to go N23 in the public folder right here, and I choose, and I can also choose the file size. Let's go for 1 GB. And what I do is when I'm going to press start here, it's going to write a 1 GB file onto into the public folder right here. So I'm pressing it, and we can see it writes at 36 megabytes per second. It's not that bad, and you can see here the file has been created. Now it's reading it, 51 megabytes per second, 48. Okay, seems to be pretty constant. It's writing it again, 38, 35, 36. Yes, so it seems to be pretty constant. And here, 50. Okay, 51, 50. All right, so pretty much the same thing. So this is for you who would be wondering about the writing speed, but obviously you will need to consider the hard drives themselves. Those are the Western Digital, sorry, Enterprise class, so pretty fast. And in fact, I'm wondering if it's not the same hard drive that I have in my Drobo. In the Drobo, in terms of writing speed, it's about double what you see right here, but then it's not the same price, and I'll talk about the price in a second. Obviously, when you have a NAS, you can install several applications, web servers, media server, even music server, and these kind of things, and you need an application to manage all this. Well, here with the Thecus, you don't have a application per se that resides on your computer. You have this little app that basically scans your network for any NAS from Thecus. Here it finds it, and I do next, and then I can start the browser, and it opens a window in the browser because it's a web-based application. So I log in, and you're going to find the control panel. So I'm just going to click here, and you see everything that you can do, that you can manage from this application here. Like I said, iTunes server here, you've got media server right there. Because this is the NAS itself is almost like a little computer, and it's running on the Linux system, so you can install a lot of third-party softwares that you can find as well on thecus.com, and it's pretty good. And for those of you who would want to do a web server, you can UPnP service as well, FTP server, SSH, NFS. There's a lot of things that you can do on this NAS, and all this for as little as £100 today online. So it's really cheap. It's a very cheap alternative to the Drobo. Drobo, 5 drives in there, and when it's all empty without any drive, when you buy the box itself, it's about £600. Here it's £100. Obviously you can do only 2 drives in there. My only complaint that I have, and once again, I'm only seeing this from a photography perspective, and I wouldn't go into the details that I'm about to reveal, but based on the price of £100, this is definitely aiming at people with a certain budget, home office, regular consumers, but not pro consumers per se. And still, you can, when you see the features that you have in there in the control panel, most of them, to be honest, some of them lost me. I tried to go check them out, and it was pretty confusing to me. I've used the manual, the online manual. It's not great. I got lost, and I have a computer engineer background, and I got a little bit lost. So I didn't find it very intuitive to use, at least not as much as the Drobo is. But then I'm not interested in this from the usage that I would do of this equipment. So I think it's a great product. It seems to be pretty rugged. It's made of plastic. Everything works great. I don't have any problem. The only thing that I would complain it's about the USB copy function button that you have right here at the front. I talked to you about it in the first part of this video. Basically what it is, you take any hard drives that has a USB connection, you plug it to it, you press the button, basically copies what you have on your external device, copies it directly onto the Thecus. I've done a test. I put one image on this disk, this flash USB key. It's not, and I put it, press the button, and it failed. I've attempted that several times. When I say fails, this is what you get. This USB copy folder here on the NAS, and you can see I've done several attempts, and every time you end up having a folder here that I do not have access to. So I like to think that somehow there's something that I'm missing, but then I'm not the only one, because I went on Google and I searched, and several people got the same problem as well. I then thought that this might be something to do with the firmware. So I went here and actually downloaded the most recent firmware, which was from October, and installed it great, but same problem, didn't work. Interestingly, the way I installed the software, the firmware, was to copy it on, I followed the instruction, and you need to copy it on the disk, on the USB, and plug it and press for 3 seconds the button, and then it will copy it and install it, which it did. So for some reason something works. It's just that if I want to copy any other data just by pressing it and without having to go through the control panel here, which works, and you can do data guard here and then do import and go through this, then that works. But the whole purpose of that button would be to go faster, and you want to save something on the go. Clearly it didn't work. If I'm doing something wrong, it's my fault, but then maybe it's also the fault of Thecus for not making it more explicit. And I'm not the only one apparently. So that's all I could say about this product. Great product for £100 once again. The noise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to turn it off, and you're going to see the noise that it has made and the silence that we will gain by turning it off. It's very noisy, I find, personally. My doorbell is running right now, so you will see that as soon as I turn it off, you will see how silent my room is. I hope you found this informative. Thank you, Thecus, for sending me this. I really appreciate. Thank you for your patience, because it's been several months for me to do this review. As I said, I like it. I think it's a great piece of equipment. Personally, I would not have bought it myself because it has only 2 hard drives in it. But I know Thecus has other options, alternative with more bays, more drives capacity in there. But this model, for somebody who's on budget, definitely a good purchase. So let me turn it off and let's appreciate the silence when this N2310 is off. So I'm pressing it, it's going to beep here. Until next time, this is Tommy God saying, if you like it, well, capture it and enjoy the silence in a few seconds. Ciao.